Welcome to the Aging Well at Home podcast, where we talk about aging with grace in the comfort of your own home.
Welcome to the Aging Well at Home podcast, our premiere episode, and we have our host, Kevin Walters. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Cabo Jim. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and I look forward to talking with all of you out there listening about aging well at home and what we're aiming to do here. So it'll be really exciting. I think it'll be a fast-moving podcast, and hopefully you get something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea came about, I had Kevin on our Good Neighbor podcast, and, he's got a lot of good information to share with our listeners. So I said, we need to do a podcast for yourself. So here we are, right?
Here we are.
So let's talk a little bit about aging at home and what that consists of for our listeners that really aren't too familiar with it.
So a lot of times, and having been in what I call the senior care area, we talk about aging at home and, really focusing on even the aging well at home here. But when we're talking about aging in place, aging at home, aging well at home, it's really making sure that, from a safety perspective, keeping up with your house, how, what's out there, what services are out there that can help you. Really, from a financial perspective, making sure that, you're financially set, that you've planned. Living here in Southwest Florida, especially, we have some unique circumstances. And most importantly, I would say the biggest one is from a social aspect. So understanding, living here, living wherever you call home, if it is here in Florida, if you're listening from another place, another part of the country, or from a different country, really, it's about understanding what's local, what activities you could be doing, as you've planned to get to this place in your life where you're thinking about retiring, where you maybe are retired, or you're like me and you are still working and grinding, but you want to find things to do, people to interact with. We're here to help on all aspects of aging well at home.
So what do you find as far as, when people get to that age and they're seeking out or they need that care, what options other than being at home are available right now?
There's a lot, it's a lot different as we have matured as a country, as we have matured in our own lifetimes, as far as what was available, 20, 30, 40 years ago versus now. I mean, there are a great deal of options. Obviously people can be at home, but hey, going out and about, making sure that you're, have hobbies, you have friends, you go out to eat, you maybe play cards, pickleball is a big thing. It seems like that's everywhere. But if you're thinking about, hey, what are my other options as I continue to, age? And maybe I don't want to live in my home anymore. One of those options, and I think it's a really good option, is there are a lot of independent living communities around, and what those bring are some tailored and and I would say custom, but also other activities that they can bring to bear. You have people that are residing with you in that lovely community that you've chosen that really have some similar interests, all kinds of interests for men, women, whatever you want to do, whether, you can continue your pickleball career, for example, a lot of different hobbies, and really just being with people that are more your people. I think it's key wherever you're calling your home, having that community aspect of it. It's, finding your people, and an independent living gives you that option to find people a little more easily. It usually has, activity directors. They usually have good food. They have entertainment that's brought in, live music. It sounds like a big party, and sometimes, frankly, it is.
But And then you get that option. I mean, back when, not that we're old, but when we were growing up, you would just put people in a home. That was the option. It was the only option. Right? Staying at home wasn't an option for them. And then you were, I want to say stuck, but you were kind of stuck with the people that were in that facility, right? When you're at home, you have the option to choose your friends and your network and your community and interact with them in the comfort of your own home, correct?
You really do. And I think that's key as you start to plan and you're thinking about, your next step. You still can get all of the amenities. A lot of places down here have those, have pools. They have different, activities and such around. Some of them have bocce ball. I mean, there's all kinds of fun things to do. They're usually located nearby other attractions, beaches, etc., that really lend themselves to activities. And whether you drive or not, if for some reason you have something that's limiting you from driving, a lot of people have, vision issues, for example. Well, a lot of these places have transportation for you. And you have your standard, hey, everybody can use Uber or Lyft, but you also have, that with some of those services provided. I always say, if you're looking at those opportunities to live in a community like that, ask more questions. Now, the other thing that I recommend with any of these communities, taking a tour, don't be afraid to talk to people as you see them in the community. Get a feel for that community. If you see a lot of smiles, you see happier people, you see people around, those are usually telltale signs that maybe this is a fun community. Maybe I want to be a part of this. And you can say this about any community that you want to live in. Let's say you're downsizing, but you still want maybe a single family home-like experience. A lot of people do attached villas or cluster homes. That's a very similar aspect to that independent living. They're almost hand in hand. A lot of the communities that are here have, activity directors as well. So there's still that benefit of activity directors. Communities maybe 55 and older, which does, a lot of good for some people that are like, hey, I don't want the kids around. For me, I have an 11-year-old son. I wouldn't even dream of it. But a lot of times, though, people are like, hey, can I have my grandkids visit? A lot of the communities, welcome that because they are 55 and older and they don't mind to have a little injection of youth, on occasion. A lot of those 55 and older communities, also have golf courses, other amenities, to think about, too. Maybe they have live music as well. I think of a few in the area where, we're at. Between Gateway, Estero, Bonita, Fort Myers Beach. This whole area has a plethora of those opportunities, whether it's, your communities that are 55 and older, whether it's your independent living. It's amazing what's out there. These things were not out there when we were younger, Jim.
Absolutely. And it takes the onus off the children, per se, because back, growing up again, what happened? The parents would move back in with you. And, like you mentioned, they lose a little bit of sense of freedom and independence. Now they're almost like the child and, their children are taking care of them. So they're losing that independence and freedom. But with this, that gives an option to have that freedom, have that, community, but then have that support around them as well, too.
Yeah, I think so. And it's about that family support, leaving doors open, people coming to visit, everybody that moves down here, including me. I am a transplant. I've been here in Southwest Florida for about 6 years now. I had this thought idea that a lot of people would come visit. And I did have a lot of people that came to visit until this thing called COVID came. But even after that, actually, I had people come and visit too. But you really have that thinking of, hey, I'm going to bring people down. You kind of turn into a tour guide yourself if you're, living down here and you're active in the communities and exploring. There's always a restaurant to go to. There's always a beach to go to. There's shopping. There's outdoor activities, especially during what we call season, Jim. There's a lot of opportunities here. There's 2 spring training facilities here for the Red Sox and the Twins, and even a non-fan of those teams, I enjoy going to those because it's beautiful. Days are nice, they're sunny, there's no rain. It's gorgeous weather.
And it's funny
It's a great
because
place
you
to be.
do with the snowbirds like that. The other side of it too is that you get a lot of sense of community and friendships. You build friendships. They come down here for the season and they stay and they meet and they become best friends. They go back up north for a couple months, but then come back. But so you still have that network of people around you and support. And who doesn't want to visit Florida, right?
Exactly. I think people that haven't been here, give it a roll, give it a try, and you'll enjoy it. You'll meet a lot of interesting and new people. And I would say the vast majority of people that I have met, local, transplant, are seasonals or snowbirds. They're usually nice people. They just are down here to have fun, and everybody, taking that attitude really enjoys themselves. It's sunshine. You can see the sunshine through the window behind me. That's real sunshine here, and it's in Florida, and it's gorgeous down here. So
that's our state. That's why we love it. So let's talk about, as we progress with this podcast, share with us our vision of, topics we're going to touch on and directions we're going to head into.
A lot of topics come to mind with this group, whether it's thinking about your planning for being down here to once you're down here, hey, what kind of activities? We're going to deep dive into some of these activities that we've kind of glossed over. We're also going to talk about more of, kind of if you do progress further and you do move down here, maybe you've been down and retired for a while and you're like, hey, I need a change up in my life. I need to, reinvigorate what we've been doing. Maybe something has changed in your life that has had you arrive at this point where you're like, hey, I'm going to explore. Hey, I'm going to check out this Aging Well at Home podcast. Maybe they'll have some ideas. That's what we're here to do. I think it's going to be fantastic to hear from people, to see comments, to get ideas. But we also have so many ideas on our own here, Jim, that I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's really going to be not just like a travel show. It's going to be what it's like to live here. What are the challenges? As I'm looking at healthcare, before you move down here, we're going to have a little checklist that we'll go over. As you're thinking about moving down here, things to your considerations that will make moving down here even more smooth. Because when I moved down here, it was interesting. I luckily have, some family down here that provided some level of guidance, but some people, they just are making the leap, Jim. So,
yep.
I mean, at some point you just do. But.
Exactly. And this is all about educating people and providing them with that knowledge so they can make the right decision for them, their family, and so forth. So I'm excited to see where this is gonna take us, and meeting the new people out there and sharing your stories with a lot of the people that are in these situations.
Yeah. And the other thing is we'll occasionally have guests that come on here to talk about what they do, share their perspectives. I think that's going to be fun. And, so it won't be just Jim and me. It'll be bringing in some local experts, some local knowledge. And I think the more the merrier as far as that goes too. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time doing it. Jim's a blast. I enjoy Jim's time, and we always have good conversation. We do not struggle to talk, neither he nor I.
Not at all. Well, we'll figure out something, right? Exactly. But no, I'm looking forward to speaking with other people too and bringing them on and sharing their stories as well. So, like I said, I'm very excited about this. So I'm glad we've decided to do this, and I look forward to future episodes. And if you would like to subscribe, just let us know, and or like our Facebook page, social medias, and we'll get you the link to all the shows.
Yeah. And like we said, we'll reach out. You can always call the number there below. You can text us and at that number too. And if you have ideas, just mention Aging Well at Home when you send a message to us, and we'll be happy to, hear what your ideas are. Not a shameless plug. If you do need help at home, that's what we're here to do too. So that's why the link to my the phone number is on there. The name of my company is Home Well Care Services here, and we do service all of Lee and most of Lee and Collier counties, I should say. So we're here to help you, and we're here to listen, and we're here to share. So it'll be fun.
Absolutely. Kevin, it's been a pleasure. So until next time, we will see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to the Aging Well at Home podcast. And to learn more about Home Well Care Services, please contact us at 239-427-0416.